All right, everyone. Good morning. So before we start, right, whatever we have discussed so far about the Appian, do you guys have anything to know more about that Appian? You know, what kind of technology it is? Any doubts, any confusion? If you have, please let me know so we can talk about that.
Nope,
Did
I
you
think
guys
we can proceed. Yeah.
did you guys logged in Appian community? Did you guys enroll?
Yeah, I try.
Okay. Did you get your practice environment as well?
Yep.
Great. How about Sri? You have you done that?
Yeah, I have done that.
Great. All right. And let me share my screen quickly, and we'll talk about the Appian. The shoot that we have. All right. Okay, so you must have seen the Appian shoot that we have, right, called designer, right? Here in the URL you can see that. One second. Here in the URL you can see that it's after the shoot. Till here the URL will be same, and then you will see the different shoots. So first one of the shoot is that called design. So design is basically for the Appian developers, where you will be creating your building your applications. Um, right now, if you go to this icon right here, this is called the navigation icon. This navigation icon helps you to move to different pages of the Appian. Um, when you use the proper one, you know, the one that company is using, you will see much more options here. One of the options you will see as an admin console. That admin console is basically for the administrator users, where they can go and do certain configuration, like, you know, if you want to create a new user, if you want to um, uh, set the file types, what kind of files you are going to allow to the system to take upload and do the things, right. And then also you can configure the email configurations. You can also configuration database configurations, and then SAML authentications. All those things you can do on under the admin console. That's a totally different thing for the administrator users. One another thing that you might see is called tempo. So tempo is basically, you know, when Appian was launched, if I go and remove and the type tempo here, so this was the basic page for the Appian, you know, where the end users were, you know, supposed to work everything, but now everything has been moved to the sites, you know, because look and feel wise, this was giving an way that, you know, you are working on a tool, and everything is kind of not, you cannot do the customization on this page. You can see customizations according to your application, but this page was very static. So this news tempo page has, you know, the only front end we had few years back, but now I think has come up with the sites. So we have the sites. So on this tempo page, you know, there are few companies, they are still using this one. Basically, we have 5 tabs. The first one is called news. The news is basically where you know, if you wanted to publish any event on your applications, you can do that, and it will be listed here. And then we have another tab is called actions. Action is basically if you want to take an action from your application, right? Like for example, yesterday we see the Mediclaim application, right? So here we have the new claim. So if you click on the new claim, you can create a new claim basically from here. The same thing you can also configure into the site, but initially when the site wasn't there, so this page was being used by the end users to take any actions. So any actions from any application. So if you see on your actions tab, right, these are the different applications we have, and you will be only able to see those applications where you have the access. So these are the different applications, and for each applications there are different actions that can be taken. Like for example, if you go for the new account opening process, here is a new account actions there. So if you click on that, it will start a process for searching a customer, and then creating a new account for that particular customer, right? So this is the action where you go and take a new action, any new things to be initiated. Now, if there are any tasks that is being assigned to you, like let's say you have submitted your leave approval request, right, and then it has to be approved by your managers. In that case, you will be able to find your task under the task tab. Here, all the things will be listed, right, and so that you can go and take an action on that task, maybe approve, reject, whatever you need to do. For that, will have to come here and under the task tab. Now there is one issue here. You cannot group the task by the application. If you are having access of 5 applications, all the 5 tasks will be listed here. Until unless you have not configured your task name accordingly, you will be very confused like which task belongs to what application. So that was there. Another tab that we have is records. As we talk about the Appian records, is a very powerful tool, a very powerful object. So all the records that is being created, you will be able to see the list of records here. So let's say, for example, if we have customer record for one of the applications where I can see all the list of the customer that we have. We can take an action. We can create a new customer. We can update a customer by clicking on any one of them. Let's say I want to say update this customer. We can click on this and then we can update the customers. Right? So that is the record for you in Appian that you can see. You can also see under the tempo page. The other tab is called reports. Reports is basically if you have built any dashboard or maybe charts for your application, all those things you can come and see under the reports tab. So if you wanted to put your data in the graphical representation, so we can create a report and we can publish it so that will be available for the users. Okay. Any question for this tempo page? It's being rarely used, but yeah, at least you should know what's the tempo and what other things are there. Any question here, guys?
Okay, so understood. Okay, so here when we create application, then those things are going to be display. But do we really need now tempo? When we use tempo?
So initially we were using tempo because the site concept wasn't there. So all the end users who wanted to use the application, they need to access this page to uh,
So
work on the
this is not,
applications.
so tempo is not for the application creation. It's
No,
just
no,
only one application. Hmm.
this is not for the creation. This is for the utilizing the application that you have built for the end users. So this was basically for the end users. As a developer, you will also have the access, but this was for the end users.
Mm, okay. And the second thing, for example, once application has been created, so for example, I mean, I'm a developer and you are the end user. So so for you, we are not going to share this side, right? I mean, for the company, I mean, for the each company, they will might be have their own domain and everything, and then there will be, I mean, there will be
No,
some
no,
different side name.
no. For app, if you are using Appian for all the Appian applications, you will have to come this login here in this page.
Okay. But even for the login, I'm just trying to understand. So, if I'm using Appian, you are using Appian. So I'm assuming for each company, they have their own web domain.
Right. Once they will use a create an, I mean, they will buy the license, they will have their own domain with their
Okay,
company.
yeah. And then I mean, with the domain, then we will have the same thing. So Tempo and like the
Right,
website trying to work.
right,
Okay,
right,
perfect. Okay,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
understood. Now understood. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Any other questions on any other tabs here? No. All right. So if you want to move to the designer, like and in Appian we have two kind of users. One is a basic user, one is a system administrator. The basic user is basically having the only the sorry. The basic user will only have the access of this kind of this page where they can go and you know access the applications. However, as a system administrator user, you will have the access of the other things like the designer page. So Appian designer, if you go to this navigation icon and click on the Appian designer, then it will open the development chute for the developers where you can go and create a new application. You can work on your existing application. So one environment can have more than one application for sure. Okay. So there could be multiple applications that you can create in under one environment, and you can set the security in a such a way that only authorized person can access it. So this is the designer page. In the designer page, you have the options of creating a new application, import and export, which is disabled in this practice environment. But yeah, you can also do the import and export of your application like deployment thing. On your left hand side, the first tab you can see is called applications. Applications is the where right now we are in, and we can create and manage our applications. And inside the application, let's say for an example, if I go any of the applications, we can see multiple options. This is basically the explorer options, and then we have build. The important thing is the build. The build is where you can see the list of the objects that we create for the application to make it work. On the build page, you can also see the new option. The new option will allow you to create a new particular kind of object that we have to build for application. We'll come to and talk each one of them in details. And then we have enough filters for object type. Let's say if I want to see only the expression rules, you can check it and it will list to the all the expression rules that we have inside our application. The another option is called deploy. You can also do the deploy from within the application to the to your wherever environment you wanted to do, and see the list of the incoming and outgoing packages if you have any. So all will be listed here. Here we can't do the deploy, that's why it's blank. And then one more important thing that we have called monitor. Monitor is basically allows you to see what are the process instances you have in your applications. And if you face any issues in your instance, then you need to come to the process under monitor and then process activity. And here you will be able to see all the latest running instances or completed instances for your applications, so that you can go and do the stuff check and everything. So this is all the options that we have inside our application. Now, if you go back to outside of the application, you need to click on this icon to move back to the whole, application list. Just click on it here. Now, here also you will be able to see the filters, the object filters. Now, the object filters that we see inside the application will be filtering out the objects only for those applications. Now, if I go and filter the application object here, all the expression rules that we have in the environment will be listed here now, irrespective of the applications. However, if you want to search, if you know the application, which application is the object is belongs, then you can go inside the application and you can do a search. Same deploy also is available on the topmost page, where you can see the incoming and outgoing application packages. And then we have monitors. Now, likewise, the objects, the monitor also works in a way that here you can see the instances for all the applications is available inside your application. However, if you wanted to track your instances, the process model instances only for your application, you can go inside your application package and then click on the monitor page to see that. And then we have users, to the list of the users. All right, so now this is the designer where you will be working most of the time, for your application creation. Right. Now, let me show you what we can, before moving to the object type that we have. Any questions here, guys? In your designer page?
No, it's good. I mean, when we'll start working, then we'll maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Now, next shoot that we have is called cloud database. Now, cloud database is for creating an application. So once you click on the cloud database, you will be able to see the Maria database window, where you can go and you can create the table, views, stored procedure, and functions. Whatever is required for your application, you can build it and you can link with your application. So Appian also comes with the in-house database where you can perform all your DB related stuff. Okay. Now these are the suites that we have. Now, if you see here in the navigation icon itself, if you see below, so the last option that you are seeing is basically a site. So if you are not using a tempo page and you are creating a site for your application, you can simply select the site that you want to open, and it will open the site uh, in the page in the browser tab, and where you can go and see your applications. So if you want to see the customer list, you can see the customer list. If you want to see if you have any tasks, you can go and check here. So you don't have to go to the tempo task page. And then if you want to create a new action, creating a new account, you can do it from here. And then likewise, we can perform all those things that. And if you want to see the report is here, right? So all those things that we were able to see under the tempo page can done inside the site as well. So it look and feel wise, it will give you that you are working on an actual application in a browser web-based application, not in a tool. So that's what the Appian site is. So you will be able to see all your site under this navigation icon. Clear?
Can we attach external database service?
Yes, you can do that. If you already have any database service, you can create an API for that, right? And then you can share with the Appian. So under the administrator admin console, right? When you use your actual application, right, then you will be able to see one more option here called admin console. So inside the admin console, you can go and you can add your third party database there, so that you can use your third party database as well. So all the create, update, whatever options you want to do, you can perform it.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. So, any question, guys? Whatever we have discussed so far about the Appian and then their shoots, the pages that we have.
That's good. I'm good. Understood.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let me just show you the what are the objects that we have in our application, that we will be creating for our use case, right? So if you go inside any of the application, right, and click on the new, then you will be able to see the list of the objects that we create inside our application to build a whole workflow. The first thing is called record type. If you open your company's environment, then you will see few more objects there like data type, data store, and all. We'll talk about that. But yeah, right now for the practice environment, it has been restricted. You can't do that because Appian is now suggesting to avoid using data type and data store and start using the record for everything, because record is a very powerful tool, or you can see the powerful object in Appian, which can do a lot of stuff very quickly. So basically, what's a record? So record, you know, you can create a record, maybe you can say you can create a data set out your data that you have. Doesn't matter where the data is residing. It could be inside your application. It could be inside your database. It could be any third party data. So Appian Record allows you to connect with anywhere else in the world and bring the data to you and allow you to take an action on that data. Now let's say if you have a customer data residing in some third party database, by using Appian Record and giving the proper configuration, you can connect with the third party database, fetch that customer record, take an action on the customer record and save it. So your record will do everything. You do not have to worry about, like, if I have a data set, do I need to create a separate action? You need to do that, but Appian Record will help you to do it very easily without writing a single line of code. So Appian Record is a powerful object which brings the data from third parties, or maybe from wherever, right? Not only the third party, from anywhere. And you can connect multiple record as well by using the relationship feature, take an action on a particular object, and then save the data in according places. And that's very easy in Appian. And data fabric concept that we are listening nowadays. So data fabric that's the data fabric. You can connect your one record from the third party, one record from your internal database, one record from within the application, and you can connect all these three record and you can have one record for whole data. So that's a data fabric for you. So that's the how powerful tool Appian Record, and it also gives you the dashboard view of your data, the summary view of your data as well. Right. So that's the Appian Record for you. Now, process models. Process models basically used to define the workflow of your data. Let's say if you are taking any action, then based on your inputs, which path it has to take, then we will be creating a process model for it. And then we have process reports. So if you guys see, remember, right, whenever I open this monitor page and the and process activity, right now there's no process instance. Let me see outside of the application if we have, if you go to the monitor and then, it will take a lot of time. Okay. Um, right. So you see this information, right? This information is from coming from the process instance that was running. What time it has been started, who started, what was the process name, right? Likewise, if you want to build your own report for your own particular process model, right? Uh, then you can go and you can create the process report for that. That's the second option that we have, the process report. So process report allows you to show the data from your running instances, from the tasks that we have, internal data that we can't see from the Appian. And if you want to bring the information, then we can build a process report. Now, we will not be touching this robotic task and robotic code because these are the RPA objects and we don't have that in the course. Now we have interfaces. Interfaces, as you know the name, right? You will be building an interface object to show all your interface design to the end users for maybe a form, maybe some dashboards, maybe some charts, all those things that we need to showcase to the end users. We will be creating an interface object. And then the report. This report is basically that we remember, right, on the tempo page we see the report tab. There we want to see the graphical representation of your data. Basically that's an interface that we built, and that interface we configure under this report so that it can display under the report tab of Appian. So that's a report. At the end it is a simply interface. Then we have sites. Site, as we see the examples, right? The site is allow will is basically it replaces the tempo, and it creates and site is in the tempo. You don't have categorization, right? You can see which action you have to take from which application, but everything will be on the same page. However, in the site, you can build a site for separately for each application, so you don't get confused that under which applications. So site will allow you to take an action, work on your tasks, show the reports, show the customer records or any other records. So everything can be possible by using the site, and look and feel wise you will feel that you are working on a web-based application. Right. Now the new thing that has been introduced in the Appian is called portals. Portal is added recently, which required admin console configuration. But I'll talk about it, what it is basically. So in case you want to track your, let's say, your Indian Post parcel, right? So how do you do that?
By searching some like your tracker number.
By using your tracking number, right? Correct.
Mm,
So
yeah.
Yes.
you go to a site and you put your tracking number. Do you need a
Mhm.
credential for that?
No,
Do
no,
you
the
need,
credentials are
Not
required.
at
You just
all.
want.
right? So you don't need to log into that Indian Postal Service page, right?
Yeah.
To track your things. Same in the same concept, Appian has also introduced this portal things where
Mm-hmm.
you do not need a login. Let's say you want to introduce something about your company, right? A web page of your company. You can design it and you can publish it as a portal, so that if I wanted to see about your company, I can go and see it without login, because Appian needs login. And it was a very demanding thing in the past, that give me something at least where I don't need a credential. Let's say I want to post a query, you know
Mm-hmm.
I want to open an account, like, can you please let me know what are the processes? So I should not be having credential for that, right? I can just go and do it. So for that thing, Appian has introduced this portal concept where you don't need a login credentials. You can simply do the things, very restricted, limited things, but you can do that. Now, let's say you want to put some, rating on some of the services. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need a credential for that, right? You simply go and you can do it. So that's the Appian portal, to show the users limited information so that they can do it without the login credentials.
Okay. So normally in the portal, what information should be displayed will be designed by the developer. Matlab, developer will
Right,
say okay. Matlab, developer will say
right,
okay, these are the things information we want to display on the portal. So if any end customer would launch the portal, he will find okay, there's some inquiry form, you have to fill it, and then you can say okay, what
right,
inquiry you required. Okay, perfect.
right. Very limited information, not a whole application. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
give.
understood.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the Appian portal. Right. Now we have expression rules. Expression rules is basically kind of supportive object. Let's say you want to design a rule, right? And then that rule requires some business logic to get calculated. So if I try to put everything in, like let's say interface and everything, right, the code will be very huge. So we can create a separate expression rules for different business logic and just call this logic to work it out. So expression rule can be used as a function. For a
Uh,
quick example, I can tell you that, let's say I want to do certain additions on two
mm,
numbers, right? So I can
mm,
create an expression rule where I can pass two numbers and I can return the addition. So I segregated the code in as a function wise, and then we are calling it whenever is required, right? So that my code will be very systematically designed and organized in a way, right? And it also allows you to reuse. Now let's say I want to design a rule where I can query a customer information and then display that information. So based on the input, if I'm going to query the information, if I do all those things in the interface itself, the code will be very lengthy and we will have to rewrite it every time I use this feature. So what I'll do, I will create an expression rule which will query the data from the database and return the results. So, wherever is required, we can simply call it. So expression rules are kind of supportive object which can utilize as a function
mhm.
to segregate the code or maybe for the reusability purpose. So that's what the expression rule says.
But who call the expression rule? Just as we, I mean, as you said,
Anything
no, no.
interface,
Who?
and as an interface can call it, a process controller can call it, wherever it
Ah,
is
okay.
required,
Okay,
right?
okay. So anyone can call, I mean, even in interface, even on the like site also, portal, in portal also we
Right.
can call it.
Right. I mean, it's just a supportive object, right? So expression rule is
Okay.
just going to give you the output. It's like you are sending some data. You know
Mm-hmm.
what? I'm giving you this to number, add it and return to me,
Nah, okay.
right?
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what the expression rule can do. It's a supportive object. And then we have AI skills. Basically, this is for AI features, artificial intelligence. We are not going to touch this, but I'll just give you an objective of it, what it does. So Appian has recently introduced this AI skills in the previous, I think, 2024 initial time, maybe mid of the 2024. So AI skills is used to do the classification or extraction of the data from a PDF file. So let's say you have a PDF file where you want to extract some information. We can use this AI skills to read that and then bring it out, right? Let's say for your PDF, you have some customer ID or maybe the customer name. So you will have to make the system learn where the customer ID field will be available, where the customer name field will be available. You have to upload up to 50 templates to system to understand, where it has to look for the customer ID, where it has to look for the customer name. Once you do that, then if you upload any PDF file, then it can give you that certain information from that PDF file to you. So you do not have to manually enter things into the, read the PDF and read into the information. Appian AI skills will do it for you. But for that, you need skills to develop, which needs like up to 50 templates to read to understand where the Appian AI skill has to reach for a particular field. So that's the AI skill is for. And then we have a decision. So for decision, let's say I have an example. If I say if input text is if input character is A, show apple. If input character is B, show ball. Likewise, if you have till Z. So how do you write this condition if you have to write it?
Like using the if condition. I mean,
Right. So you will write the if condition. So
yeah.
it will be a nested if, right?
Yeah, understood.
If
Of course. Yeah.
right? Nested if. Then you tell me how much line of code it will go if you have 26 characters to identify.
Almost 26 lines. Or maybe more also, to just put some validation also. So if you condition, then display something. So it will make it double also.
Right. So if you're not writing everything in the same line, right? If you
Yeah.
want to write the code, it will go maybe at least twice, right?
Yeah.
Which will now this is only 26 characters. Now imagine you have to find your customer information like thousands of records. So this will go very beyond, right? So you have to put nested if like lots of conditions.
Yeah.
So to overcome this code complexity, Appian has come up with one object called decision object, where you can simply go and define the rule data in your tabular form. Let me see if I have one of example here. Right, we have it. So here you see this one. What I did is basically I defined a tabular form of information where I just simply mention A, B, C, D, whatever, right? Now, if you do that and just write down the inputs of it, right? Then it will give you the output. If you pass A, it will give you apple. So it's very neat and clean coding. You do not have to write multiple if condition. If I go and type my input as A, I'll get my output. Okay. Now, decision also gives you a three kind of working mechanism. So the first one is called unique. If you go with the unique, you must have unique record in your system. If I try to put A and then if I'm trying to get the data in the unique, right, it will throw me the error that you have a duplicate records. You see? So if you are using this decision as a unique, then you should have a unique result, unique input and then unique data of it. Okay. So if you pass A, now we'll get an apple. Now there could be a possibility that you want to get the data, the first one wherever it matches. Now let's say I want to go with the is first, and if I have the same information. So if you are going with this, the first option, then if you go and test with the data, you will still get A. Why? Because the apple meets, at the first position. There could be a requirement where you want all the matches. So you need to go and change this to the rule order. If you change this to the rule order, then if you test it will give you both the results. So you need to, instead, apart from this giving your data in the graphic, tabular representation, it will also allow you to provide different mechanism of the output, how you want it. So you can also design a decision according to your requirement, which is neat and clean. You just have to uh, put the data in the tabular form. And you can also do the combination of data, like input 1 is A and input 2 is B, then display a particular word. Something also you can perform in the decision tables. So that's the decision object for you. Right? Any questions?
Just one thing you said, the values cannot be duplicated. I mean, I understood the input text should be the unique one if I'll go for the
Right,
unique one,
right,
but
right.
for the value also should be unique one. I mean,
No,
if
the
I,
input, the input, the
Mhm.
input. If you
Input
are
should be unique.
if you are following the unique
Yeah.
property,
Mhm.
in that case, your input should be unique.
Unique
Value
one. The value
value
cannot
could be anything.
duplicate.
Yeah, value
Okay.
could be anything. Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Kind of map. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now then we have another object called constant. All right. Now give me one example. Like let's say I have 5 interfaces and I will give the application name. All in all our interface we are displaying our application name. Let's say leave management application. Okay, this is what my requirement was, and I'm displaying leave management application as a header of all my 5 pages of my application. Okay. Now
Mm-hmm.
customer says that you know what? Can we change this leave management app system to maybe leave management application, or maybe leave management application to leave management system, right? So what we need to do?
You have to change the name directly in the application.
Right. So we will have to go all the 5 objects, and then we
Well,
will
yeah,
have
yeah,
to change all the places, right?
yeah. Of course, yeah.
Right. Now imagine, instead of using the direct text in all the interfaces, I provided that text in one of text type constant. Okay. So I created one text type constant, and in that constant I used leave management application, and I'm using that constant all my 5 interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if business says that, I want to change to the leave management system, so I will just have to modify that particular constant, and wherever that constant is being used, all the
Used.
places it will
Okay.
be automatically reflected.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Yeah.
All right. So that
Mhm.
is the use of the constant.
Okay.
There are there are
Declare once and use everywhere.
right. So there are many more uses, like let's say in Appian we have lots of functions. Let's say folder functions, which need input as a folder. So if you simply go and type the folder name, it won't understand, because it will say, you know what, I need an input as a folder. However, whatever you are giving to me is a text. We will have to create a constant and call that particular folder in that constant, and use this constant to that function. So that function should know which folder it has to look for. Okay, we'll see all those things, but that's what is about. Right. Now we have translation set. This has been added recently. Even I haven't looked for this one, but this is related to the AI skill. All right, very important. We have connected system, integration, and API. These 3 objects is basically used for the third-party configuration. Very important. Now, if you want to bring the third-party data in Appian, right? There are 2 things that you can do. Either you can bring the third-party data, or you can expose your data to third party, right? In other terminology, you can mention, if you want to use a service from a third party, or if you want to expose your service to the third party, these 2 things you can do. So if you
Yep.
want to use a third party services, we need to create an integration object. The integration object will allow you to use the third party services. Let's say if you want to query and then bring the data from the third party, you can do that. So we are going to use the third party services to get the data from third party and bring it to the Appian level. However, if you want to expose your data or maybe your services to the third party, we need to create an API. So mostly in interview, they will ask the question, what's the difference between integration and API, right? So you should say that if you want to use the third party services, we need to use integration. If you want to expose your Appian services to third party, then we will have to create an API. Right?
Okay. Yep.
Right. Then what's the connected system? Now let's say we need to use an third party services, and that service provider provides 5 services. For example, let's say I'm going to use a third party service called calculator, and calculator has 5 services: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and whatever, right? Now if I want to create an integration object for all 5, we will have to do the authentication with this calculator for all the five integrations. However, because these all 5 services belongs to the same parent, the calculator, we can create a connected system sorry, and authenticate that connected system with the third party by using this connected system object, so that whenever we create this 5 different integration, we can use a connected system, and then we do not have to do the connectivity for each one separately. So connected system is like connect once and use in multiple services. Sorry?
Ah, you're back. Okay. I just missed it. So the last part I heard, okay, you are explaining difference. What is a connected system? And
Right.
then you
So,
was
right,
missed.
right. So connected system is basically if you are going to connect with a parent service provider, in our case is a calculator. So we will connect with the calculator, so that whenever we create the different 5 integration, we will not have to do the authentication all the time. We will simply
Mm.
use this connected system in all my integration. So it will get connect and return me the services. So connect
Uh,
once and use multiple integrations,
okay, okay, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, you will have to provide this authentication in your all 5 different integration that we create, right? So better create connect with one connected system and then use that connected system in all our integrations. Okay, so you will not have to do the authentication all the time, right? And then we have documents. So there is the possibility that for your application you might be generating some document, you might be uploading some document. So that document object we will be using that, and we will be saving the documents in the required folders. We have then groups and group type. Groups are basically that we create, right? Like manager group, supervisor group, employee group, all the things that we can create a separate groups, admin group, viewer role for your application security. So all those things that we create, we will create a group for it. Feed, we see that, right, which is not in being used now anymore, because if you remember in the news tempo page, the first was the news. If you wanted to publish anything, then we will be using feed. And then we have folders. There are basically different types of folders. If you select here, then you will be able to see we have basically 4 kind of folder. The one is a rule folder. The rule folder which will be allow you to save the expression rules, interface, constant, all those things will be get saved inside the rule folder. For process model, we have process model folder. So all our process model will be saved inside the process model folder. And then we have document folder. So document that we are generating into the system, the document we are going to upload to the system will be get captured inside the document folder. And we have knowledge center. So knowledge center is basically the topmost repository for your document folders. So all your document folders will be inside your knowledge center, not the process model, not the rule, only the document folder. So knowledge center is the topmost repository of your document folders, and inside that you can have multiple document folders and organized in a way that you wanted to. So these are the folders. So these are the objects that we have in Appian that we will be creating for our application purpose, and we will be using those to build the whole workflow. Any questions so far?
Uh, just one thing. In the object list, I mean, whatever you explained. So most of object have a different color. So one on the dark blue, second in the light
Right.
blue. Then so I mean, is this? I mean, is this color explained like okay, these are the internal objects? I mean, internal used by the APN. These are for the
No,
third
no,
party
this
connection. I think.
no,
Okay.
no. I mean, these are like grouping with the color wise, right? It's a process model.
Yeah.
It's an
Mhm.
expression. So all the expression will be the same icon. So these are the icon that Appian has given internally. Nothing to do with the third party and everything. Just
Ah,
they
okay.
have segregated the object.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is what we had to discuss today. You know, we think about a use case that you wanted to, uh, you know, uh, build. You want to build from our upcoming classes, and then we will be, you know, start designing that. So let me know if you have any questions. Go through this, see if you are able to access it, everything, and yeah, that's it. Any questions?
No, I'm good from my side.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right then. So I heard that there was an issue with the evening timing, so I just moved it to the morning timing. This is the timing that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Let's discuss and let me know if you have any suggestions for the different timing, and Srita will be reaching out to each one of you to discuss more for the timing things. Okay, then
Okay, to be prefer. I mean, to be honest, I was preferring the evening timing also because in the
mm,
morning I used to have a. I mean, the office meeting and office calls available there. So, but yeah,
right.
I am. I mean, I'm eager to learn it because I have to work it. So I will manage it. So I'm okay with the both one. But if your preference goes, I'll go with the evening match.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right then. Yeah, Srita will reach out to you, and then they will will come up with one timing, and then we can continue there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks for
Thank
joining.
you. Bye bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you.